So today we're back out here with the Yazoo YTKC22 commercial front deck mower, and I've got me a new Group 75 battery and a bag of Chinese goodies, and we're going to see if we can get this thing to run today. I got a whole laundry list of stuff I got to do to it, but I got up late, so I've only got about an hour and a half of daylight, and I want to get this thing about 1,500 feet that way into my yard so I can work on it tomorrow. So priority for today is get the battery in, swap on the oil with this delicious 45-year-old straight 30 weight non-detergent Walmart oil in combination with this slightly less old straight 30 weight, and place the air filter, change the fuel filter. I think the fuel pump is shot. We're going to test it and then replace it anyway and get inline fuel shutoff installed, and hopefully she'll run after that, and I'm going to push her as far as I can that way, park her, and finish up everything I need to do the next day. So I guess let's get to it. First things first, I'm going to work on the fuel system before I put this battery in, and hopefully that'll work. Let's do it. Alright, first let's bust into this guy and see if they delivered everything they were supposed to. Now this is a kit I got off of Amazon, and I guess by sheer luck it had absolutely everything I needed in it. It's got fuel pump, air cleaner, fuel line, inline fuel shutoff, fuel filter, if I didn't already say that, oil filter, whole 9 yards. Here's the fuel pump, here's the fuel filter. Ooh, got a spare fuel filter. This should be the oil filter. There it is. Ooh, it's even sealed. And I believe this should have spark plugs as well. Oh, there they are. Spark plugs are down in here, along with the inline fuel shutoff and some clamps. Here is the fuel line. They sent a lot less than I thought they were going to, but that's all I need. There's the fuel filter. Even got the foam cover on it. Here's my fuel valve. That's open. That's closed. Tastes like gas for some reason. And here's the spark plugs. And I got a plethora of clamps, which is good because I needed at least about that much fuel line and 2 clamps in order to install this inline fuel shutoff. So I'm just going to load these up on here and get them out of the way, and then we'll work on the fuel system. So that is the biggest thing in the way, because the last time I tried to run this, it looked like it pulled absolutely no fuel through the fuel system. So I think the pump is shot, and that could be the pump, or that could be one of these lines. So hopefully we have enough fuel line to be able to fix that. Alright, before I get on to any of that, I'm just going to go ahead and do the air filter because it only takes about 5 seconds. There are 2 different size air filters for these Kohlers. There's a 2.5 and a 3, and I forget which one I got. I think it's a 2.5, and we'll hope it's the right size. I think if you get one slightly smaller, you're fine. You know, you won't get as much airflow as you need, but it'll fit. And I think if you get one that's too big, this cover won't quite fit on it. Not really sure. I feel like they should be, somewhat interchangeable, but I think one has a higher air demand than the other. I think having a bigger air filter is better than having a smaller one. So we'll hope that mine is the right size. And appears to be. So that's good. Stay. And I think the issue I'm having with fuel getting in the crankcase, which is, I'm just taking on faith from what my cousin is telling me. I think what it is, since this fuel pump is above the gas tank, there should not be any gravity feed going on, and the amount of siphon action should be very low because of this fuel pump. I think what's happening is the fuel pump is probably slightly bad, and so it leaks a bit. And I think it's just everything in this line going to the carburetor, as well as anything in the float bowl, is just going in. Every time it's run, parked, that flows past the needle and seat and into the crankcase. Then it's fired back up, whole line fills up, drains back in. And I think it's more of a chronic problem than like a sudden catastrophic one, because with these horizontal mounted Kohlers, there's not really an issue for like massive amounts of fuel to get in there, you know, unless this is like sealed or something and there's some sort of pressure differential that is pushing gas up through here, which I highly doubt because it does not seal, obviously, so that's not really a problem, I don't think. So I'm hoping it's just a chronic dribble, because with the vertical shaft versions of these, especially the ones with the mechanical fuel pump, if the fuel pump fails, and especially most of those are on lawn tractors, and it's gravity feed on the fuel tank, or at least the fuel tank is mounted higher than the carburetor, and whenever the carburetor needle and seat fails, or if it has a mechanical fuel pump, if the mechanical fuel pump fails, the gravity feed, or the just higher fuel tank, just forces fuel either past the needle or seat or through the mechanical fuel pump directly into the crankcase till it fills up. And I don't believe that is the problem with this. We'll see when we drain the oil. I think it's just chronic, slight amounts of gas getting in every single time, which is enough to mess it up, because this doesn't have a very high oil capacity. So I'm going to quit gabbing, and I'm going to move on to this fuel system. Alright, how much do y'all want to bet these are 7/16? I hope you bet a lot, because I lost. 3/8. No, metric. Cool, thanks, Kohler. We're in fact 10 millimeter. That's what they are. So you need a 10 millimeter socket, and you need a set of pliers in order to be able to disconnect these clampy boys. Get them the heck out of the way. And I'm going to take this air cleaner cover right back off that I just put on, so that I have more access to this fuel line. Actually, that doesn't really give me any more access. I think I have to remove the carburetor to get to that. That's kind of a pain in the ass. But I will leave it off. Yeah, we'll just do that, and I'm going to take these off the fuel filter while I'm here. Alrighty. Now, this line goes to your gas tank, this line goes to your carburetor, this line goes to your crankcase, and this is a vacuum pump. So as there's a bunch of hyperventilation going on in here, just a bunch of that continuous change in pressure creates a pumping action, and it sucks fuel up out of here and pushes it through here. And if this diaphragm fails, cracks, or just becomes hard, this vacuum pressure is not enough, or it doesn't seal properly, and this won't pump fuel. So I am going to pull this line off, and we are going to get this line that I have so nicely ruined with all of these hose clamps, jam it on here, which is thankfully nice and tight. And we're also going to pull this off. Those are plastic screws, so be careful with them. I'm going to go. I'm going to pop this guy off. Pull this line off the carburetor. Smell it? No gas, so it definitely didn't pump anything last time. And I'm just going to do some succulation on this end of the hose and see if anything comes out. No idea what kind of pressure differential this needs and how fast it needs it to go or what, but we're just going to see if we can get anything down into this guy. Alright, I don't know if you can see this. Let me do some of that zoom action. Alright, fuel pump works. So we don't need to worry about that. If the fuel pump works, I'm not going to worry about the fuel filter either. And we're just going to... Actually, no, we're not going to do that. I'm going to take this guy back off. And it also could be the possibility that this hose is cracked somewhere. We're going to operate under the assumption that it is not. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this inline fuel shut off. It's got an arrow like that. I'm going to stick it right here because I want this as far forward of the pump as possible. I don't have much room to work right in here, which is kind of annoying. I was hoping I'd have more, but that's what you get. Well, after it fought me a whole bunch, that is barely in there, but it is in there, and this fuel pump's just ready to break, and this clips this every single time, so this is going to have to get fixed, and that is not an ideal solution, but it's there for now, and if it ends up not being the problem, then it'll just stay like that, and we won't have to worry about it. But for now, we're going to leave it like that. Next, we're going to move onto the oil, and I got to figure out how to get the oil out of this. I think I see a drain plug, and I just realized I don't got anything that'll fit in here and can catch oil. So stand by. Alright, I don't know how well you can see this, but this appears to be the drain here, and as you can tell, she leaks oil, and she's leaking somewhere up above this. I got no idea how to take this off. I'm hoping it just sort of turns. And I'm also hoping there's a hole here in the frame so that I can put a funnel and drain under it, but there's not. Why would there be? That'd be too easy. So I'm going to have to find something to get in here that'll hold 2 quarts of oil. I brought an oil catch pan, but it's like this big around. So I need to go find like a fast food cup or something. Cram up in here, and I got to figure out what size this is and break it off. Kind of looks like too big. It also kind of looks like it's like a harness, like it's supposed to come off or something, but I know it doesn't. So we'll play around with that, and I'm not going to be changing the filter right now. This guy up here, just because I'm going to be putting this craptastic oil in here to run it until I can figure out what the fuel leak issue is. Once I've got that sorted out, then I'll replace the filter and I'll put proper oil in there. And the Kohler manual recommends 10W30 for practically all conditions. If you live in like Alaska, you can use 5W30, and if you live where I live here in Charleston, where it's first week of December and it's about 65 out at 4 in the afternoon, you can use straight 30 weight. So I'm going to use this straight 30 weight as long as I can, as long as I got the temperature for it, and then when I don't, I'm going to drain it out and put proper 10W30 in it. So let me go see what size that is. I'm feeling like it's 13/16. Stand by. Not 13/16. She's not 7/8 either. Must mean it is crescent wrench size. Alright, good. Well, that loosened up. Assuming that's 1 inch or 25 millimeter or something, I have no idea if this is metric or not. Okay, so does she just... Okay, so she comes off. I bet this is just a plug. Or no? I got no idea what that is and what it does. Stand by. I wonder if that's just supposed to drain out. Oh, let me find a piece of wire. Oh yeah, that's just right full of crap. That's a great design. That's not going to get plugged on a riding lawnmower, is it? What the hell are you doing, Kohler? Well, that's definitely got oil in it. Now, let me go see if I can find something to catch this in. Damn, I was not anticipating that. I was hoping there would at least be a hole. Let me at least see if it does contain oil or not. Let me try and find a way to do this without getting my hand in the way. Oh, yep. Yep, that's full of chunky stuff right there. Oh yeah, that is right full of gas too. Alright, I know y'all probably can't see this worth a shit, but this is what I've cobbled together to get the oil out. So I have a funnel right here underneath the drain, and that is connected via a little clamp to a piece of 5/8 garden hose that I cut, and it is about as hard as glass. And that is running all the way down here, this outflow right there. And that's all I could jury-rig here in the last couple of seconds, and it is fighting me every step of the way. I've got my dipstick pulled, and the cap off of the valve train. And we're going to crack her and see if it'll drain. Wish me luck. Alright, there she goes. Let's hope it doesn't overflow on me. Just a dribbling. She's not super thin. It's not like 100% gas or anything. But yeah, it is thin, as you can see down there, hopefully. She's just going to keep dribbling like that for a while, so stick around. I'm going to be here a minute, aren't I? Well, at least the funnel is not leaking yet. Alright, I know how much y'all like watching oil drip, but in the essence of time, I'm going to get this guy in. I really do not like this battery holder setup. It is not particularly pleasant. Now, if you're eagle-eyed and you saw the last episode, you know that this is not the same size battery. This is a Group 75 rather than a Group 70 like what was in here. And this thing don't need any more than a Group 70, but no one really makes Group 70s anymore. And a Group 75 is dimensionally extremely similar. It's larger, it's got a higher cold cranking amp capacity, but its only dimensional difference is that it is 3/4 of an inch wider, or longer if you will. So that's the only difference, which luckily appears to fit. And I think you could get a Group 78 in here, no problem. Don't know why you would want to do that, but you could. Alright, I'm just going to tighten her down a little bit. And a little bit more on the other side. There's a nice look at my butt crack. Now, before I hook any of this up, I'm going to get up in here and tighten these bolts on the steering column so that when I drive it back, it actually goes where I want it to. Now, I got no idea what size these bolts are, but my gut tells me 3/4. Hot damn, they are. Both of them, at least on top, are 3/4. That's a good sign. Now let's figure out what they are underneath. Definitely need a socket for that. I don't want to get that one too tight because that's the pivot. And I don't want to get this one too tight either because it has to move through it. I just want to get it tight enough that it quits jiggling. May just be worn out gears, actually. Oh, no, she does not want to go any tighter. There's a bushing in there. Alright. Steering is now adjusted. Let's put that battery back in. I think the oil is done. Alright, as you can see, the goop is done blooping. Nothing else dripping there. Well, make a liar out of me. And nothing really dripping there. So we're going to call it good. And I'm going to start putting in new oil. Before I do that, I'm going to blow right up on this dipstick tube and blow the last little bit of oil out, because that seems to work, but it only gets what's right there in front of the drain out. I wouldn't normally recommend doing that because you are blowing condensation straight into the crankcase, and that water can do some harm, but I don't care about this mower. And as such, we're going to leave it as is. Alright, so here's what we got out of here. And you can see it's not horrible. It is old, and it does have a definite scent of gas to it. But I don't see any chunks of metal. Any little particles you see in there are probably the dirt that kept falling in. And there's some crud that was inside of the hose. But yeah, I don't see any red flags there. Alright, and while we're over here, I found this underneath the mower, and it's not the right size for this thing, but hey, free wheel. So I've got very much the wrong hardware, and this is something my dad found on the side of the road, and I had to chase the threads out because they were not threads anymore. They were like round and flat, and I put a little bit of Teflon tape on there to help it, and it doesn't really help, but it does fit just barely. So we're gonna smack that on there. Oh, good. And that carriage bolt actually fits somehow, some way, shape, and form. So that should save me from needing 2 wrenches. Give me a little torque. Just a smidge of torque. All right, that's good enough. That'll work for the time being. Alright, now time to add the oil and hope it doesn't leak. Like I said before, this is straight 30 weight, and manufacturer does not recommend putting straight 30 weight in this Kohler unless you expect it to be over 50 degrees Fahrenheit during all times of operation. And here in Charleston, it's doable because you don't really use the mower in the winter. And it's December right now, and it's in the 60s at 5 in the afternoon. So we're just going to send it, and I'm not going to keep this in here very long, just until the next oil change once I figure out the fuel thing, and then I'm going to put some high mileage 10W30 in it to hopefully help with this seal leak down in here. And I have exactly 1.7 quarts of this straight 30 weight. So that's slightly less than the manufacturer recommends. But as you can tell, I don't really care what the manufacturer thinks. At least not at the moment. I'll care about it later. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this Walmart brand SAE 30 is non-detergent. It's, you know, not even, you know, the modern equivalent. I think my dad bought this for use in a compressor. But anyway, it's on the shelf, and he hadn't touched it since he bought the house. So he's not going to miss it. Ooh, that's thick. At least this will help with compression a little bit. At least when it warms up. Or break the engine, one of the two. We'll see. I don't plan on running this for more than maybe an hour at most. Let that drain for a second. Check the stick, make sure it's not overfilled. Shouldn't be. Well, now get in the hole. You know, we're still at the bottom. Should just barely get to the low mark. Ooh, that is nasty looking. But it's still got viscosity. Alright, and we are in the safe range. So that is good enough for me. Alright, fuel shut off is open. Hands are greasy. Battery needs to be hooked up. And I think we're ready to rock. Well, I was going to check the differential fluid level, but there's supposed to be a dipstick over here, and it's not. It's supposed to be right there. So I guess we just won't. Get this guy lined up. I don't know why they made this so excessively small on here. It's like a 3/8. Let me not touch the body like I'm doing right now. Probably get a socket for this. That should be good enough. Remember, fellas, if it don't quite fit, spit on it. There we go. And let's hook this up and see if we burst into flames or not. I don't really like this setup. Probably gonna get electrocuted, but there we go. Ain't dead yet. Alright, call that good. Put this back on there. Don't really do much over that post, but whatever. Alrighty, moment of truth. It's really starting to cool off, so I need to hurry up. I got no idea if this sucker's got a parking brake or not. I'm going to assume it doesn't, and it doesn't have a beer holder either, which is kind of annoying. So use the old pocket. Alright, throttle all the way open, choke closed, brake on. Nothing. Hell, Walmart screw me? Okay, maybe that was it. The guy had the PTO on. Is there fuel in here? Yep, I think it's a fuel pump. Give it just one more go. Just trying. No. She might be leaning out. Needs choke. Yeah, she wants to choke on. May need that fuel pump changed. Appears like the transmission is not happy, which I expected considering all the fluid I see on that wheel. She kind of floats around a little bit. It could just be because I'm holding this thing up. That may be it. I think it's kind of front heavy. Yeah, I'm just gonna run this thing home. So you're gonna come along for the ride, and you'll see if I die. It's also burning all these cobwebs off up here on the muffler, so that's nice. I'm sure it'll catch on fire. So let's get to it. She likes to do that. I'm not certain what is causing that, but she'll just die. Oh. She out of fuel? No, she's got fuel in her. She just all of a sudden dies, and you gotta let her. It's like she's flooding out, but if I take the choke any further out, she croaks. That's ignition. And or clutch? No? Fuel? Well, backfire solenoid doesn't work. That's for certain. So she's definitely flooding, that's for certain. Huh. I don't see any oil leaking. Yep, air fuel. Well, we're just gonna keep limping. We got that far to go. I want to at least get her. So, yep. I guess she'll see it when it's there, or when it fails. Stay tuned. All right, there she is. She's in my yard. I just filmed about 5 minutes worth of footage, and just realized I wasn't recording. But she does mow. The steering is absolutely sacked out. It really started pulling hard to the right. It may be that the transmission is messed up on that wheel. Not certain. Might have some clutches or slipping or something. I don't know. I don't know what that piston does, but it's there. Must be suspension related. That belt right there is 8 up. Look at that guy. She is lunched. There's just chunks missing everywhere on it. So that's a problem. I think I lost ignition on one coil. It seemed like I was running on one cylinder the whole way back. She did not sound right. I need to shut this off. And yeah. So she's gonna sit here for a hot minute, but she's running. Not well though. I'm going to work on all the other various accoutrements tomorrow, which is another day. So if you want to get your abandoned Yazoo YTKC22 running, because let's face it, pretty much all of them are abandoned because you can't get parts for them, and you can't even find owner's manuals online. All I could find was a parts manual. So no one knows how to fix them, and no one knows how to get parts to fix them. All they know how to do is fix the motor. She needs something done with the steering. She obviously needs a carb rebuild. Let's see, may have lost an ignition coil. Who knows? But she's a hot mess. And I can't wait to make this hot mess somebody else's hot mess. Hope this helped you. I know I could not find anything out there on these Yazoo YTKC22s. So this is better than nothing. So you're welcome. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what you think is wrong with this, because I need the help. And yeah, time out. It just goes on and on. So that's going to need looking at. Oh, maybe actually. Okay, if I'm lucky, that was either the deck or the rear wheel being flat and my fat ass scraping the ground. That tire needs air desperately, but it ain't off the bead.